so much for watching Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. My name is Anthony, and I am your host. This is the point, of course, where we get to discuss matters that are very key to our economy as Uganda, but also we get to bring on board key stakeholders and people who have a say in what our economical outlook is for the country, and of course contribute their ideas and views on the big topics in the economic world here in Uganda. And of course, we are live on our YouTube live stream. That is at Smart 24 TV Live. That is on our YouTube, but also channel 372 on DSTV and channel 394 GOTV. Remember to check us out. Also on Twitter and be part of the conversation at Smart 24 TV on Twitter, and follow the hashtag The Point. You will definitely get across our content. Now, of course, today we are talking the national budget. Of course, just a few days ago, the budget proposal or the framework paper was approved by Parliament on the 30th of January. Of course, that is in line with Section 9.3 and Section 9.5 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 amended. But this budget was tabled on the floor of Parliament back in December, and still went through a couple of reviews up to this point in time, and a lot is still happening to see that we have a budget produced by the end of this fiscal year. Now, joining me today to discuss more of what's in this budget for you as a Ugandan, as a farmer, as a student, as anyone watching out there who is concerned about Uganda's economy, is none other than Juliet Akello, who is from the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, as well Mr. Patrick Rubankin, who is also an economist from the CS-BAG, or the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group. You're most welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony.
I'll start with the lady here. I think, Mr. Patrick, you won't be offended by this one. But tell us about yourself and, of course, the CS-BAG Society.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. I'm called Juliet Akello once again, and I'm an economist at the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group. Now, the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group is an institution, a CSO institution, that was instituted in 2004, to ensure that there is prudent management of resources, but also we do a lot of mobilization of citizens to be able to participate in the budgeting processes, planning and budgeting, so that they are aware about whatever it is that government is planning and budgeting for them. Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm very glad you're joining us on set. Mr. Patrick, you're most welcome back. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Yes, I wouldn't want to ask you the same question here, because I know you have a lot of experience on this show. You have been here before. We have talked about CS-BAG, but I want us to get, first of all, to put into perception the national budget. Before we get into whatever is happening currently with the framework and also the past budget, why is it important for a Ugandan for the national budget and to be part and parcel of the budget process?
Okay, thank you. Good evening, listeners today. The question you have raised is quite interesting. Why should citizens really be interested in this budget? As you're aware, a budget is a statement that is produced by government. It's just a statement of our revenue and expenditure over a given period of time. So that means a lot is being done by government. One, in mobilizing revenue, and two, in spending that revenue that they have mobilized. So when we ask ourselves, where does this revenue come from? Most of these revenues are generated from the citizens. Then once government gets this revenue, they are obligated to spend on critical areas that benefit the citizens. So, why should citizens be interested in the budgeting processes? I think the guiding principle is we have a legal framework in place in this country that allows for a participatory planning and budgeting processes. And this law is very, it's enshrined in our Public Finance Management Act of 2015. So me and you as citizens, the law allows us to participate, and government has gone ahead to create spaces for citizens to participate in these planning and budgeting processes. When you look at our planning and budgeting stats, it's bottom up and top down. So there are two scenarios at play, and it works concurrently. From bottom up, priorities that would make it into the budget are solicited right from the village level. And this sieves through to the parish, where we have the parish development committees. Unfortunately, over the years, this function has not been so strong because we were lacking parish chiefs in certain jurisdictions. Then we have the sub-county budget conferences. Now again, once these priorities have been sieved out by the parish development committee, it moves to the sub-county, where again it gives us opportunities to participate as citizens. As we are talking, this is still at the formulation stage. Again, it goes up to the district. We have a district budget conference. Again, they give a window for citizens to participate in these processes. At national level, we have spaces to engage in parliament, where you engage with the members of parliament to influence, to see that priorities that improves on the life and well-being of citizens are considered in the budget. That's why at CSBAC we promote a people-centered budget. We want to see a budget that speaks to me and you. So we have spaces at the formulation stage, then at implementation stage. As the budget is being implemented, citizens also obligated to ensure that the monies that have been received by the duty bearers are put to right use. And this is strong when it comes to now budget monitoring. You and me should monitor the budget. You want to see the budget work. Now that's where now the auditing sets in later on to see if the resources that have been allocated by government was really put to good use to deliver the kind of services that we deserve. So that's where you need to participate in this whole process. And another reason is we contribute to this fund. We contribute taxes, and government uses our taxes to deliver on these services. So it's prudent that me and you should be active in this process so that we understand what is our money doing. Yeah,
absolutely. Madam Juliet, on the point of the relevance of the budget process, many Ugandans out there sometimes don't take this serious. Matter of fact is government hasn't done much, especially in providing resources or things that incentivize why people should be interested in the budget. But in your own view, as an organization, CSBAC, what steps have you taken to see that you are a civil society body, right? So what steps are you taking to see that the budget is out there and people are actually interested in listening? Because as Mr. Rubankin has mentioned, it has the revenue, it has the expenditure, so it definitely comes back to you as a taxpayer, and you must know what's happening. So at what level have you reached in terms of getting this information out there about the budget?
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony. Just like the name of the organization is, the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, and the main guiding words would be budget advocacy. So what CSBAC does is mobilizing citizens, like I said earlier, and how do we do it? We have taken steps in trying as much as possible to train the citizens, to also train civil society organizations, because we know that where other civil society organizations reach, most likely we might not reach. But in as far as the constituents that they reach are concerned, whatever we have trained them, they are able to pass on the message. But aside from that, we have gone ahead to produce what we call citizens budgets. And what does that mean? These are small booklets that we look up to, especially from the district budgets, because we know many citizens at the district levels might not interpret how these budgets are actually prepared. So what we do, we try to summarize them in an easy way for them to, to read and relate with it. But that also helps them in as far as monitoring the budget is concerned. It does not stop at at having that information sent out. But then they have to use that information. It has to be easy enough for them to be able to monitor the budget as it is being executed. A lot of that information is on our website. But the other is that we rally civil society organizations, like Patrick said. Given the spaces that we have, we only spearhead, we only give guidance to the different CSOs that we come along with. Why? Because the budget is big. There are several sectors within the budget. Talk of sub programs like health, education. We have agriculture. We have all those others. And you realize that most of the CSOs have thematic working areas. So you might find a civil society organization very strong in advocating for education. So we bring the education team together, we bring the health team together, and we go through the budget together, so that whatever information that we know, we pass it on to them. And it is our expectation that they also try as much as possible to pass it on to the constituents. But in terms of advocacy, that is, that kind of platform is, that kind of organization of CSOs, once we have come up with issues that affect the citizens based on the thematic areas, we use some of those outcomes or products that we have analyzed the budget and we have come up with the issues to the different spaces, because then we know there are citizens who may not be able to actually reach those spaces. But the fact that civil society organizations reach the citizens, they have the priorities at hand, and so they are able to share in the spaces that Patrick has shared.
Absolutely, and we are about to just discuss the budget framework paper for the year 2023-2024. But before we do that, we're going to take a very short break. When we return, we look at a budget that is 1 trillion higher from the previous year, from 48 trillion, 48.1 to 49.98 trillion. And this budget, much as it's higher, we have so many budget cuts in there. And many people out there really get concerned when it comes to budget cuts, especially in key areas. It's like you're cutting, for example, in a place where it hurts. I don't know if you know that Uganda proverb. But we want to talk about the budget cuts. We want to talk about the revenue collection on the issue of raising money. As you see, this budget perspective is going to be 28 trillion collected locally or domestically, which is 58%. Comparing that to the previous 25.5 trillion, where is this money going to come from? More of that after this very short break. This is The Point, and my name is Anthony, and you're watching Smart 24 TV. Stay with us, we'll return shortly.